which starts our list at number 10 with Spider-Man's bulletproof suit, or Spider Armor Mark II. This suit is designed when Peter Parker loses his spider senses, which we all know would make him much more susceptible to bullets specifically. So instead of taking a break and hiding away for a while, or being too heroic and going out and getting shot, Peter just creates a new and improved spider armor to face off against Massacre, a mass murderer. Massacre had captured a bunch of hostages, but when Spidey swoops in, he makes easy work of the killer by easily deflecting his bullets. The suit's magnetic webbing also interferes with the villain's ability to remotely activate traps, which I'm not sure was planned or not, but hey, the suit comes through again for Spider-Man in that way too. This suit was very useful for this very specific situation, but sits back on the list just because there are simply much better suits coming up. Okay, at number 9, we've got Spider-Man's Electro-proof suit. This suit was created in Amazing Spider-Man number 425 in an effort to get a one-up on Electro, a villain who we all know has electric powers. The reason why Peter Parker hadn't come up with this idea before is that it just didn't seem necessary, as Spider-Man could usually find ways to outmatch Electro. But this time, Electro had found a way to supercharge himself and become even more powerful than ever before. So Spider-Man decides to design a brand new suit, which also just looks really cool. Although it was first presented in the comics, the suit can also be used in 2014's The Amazing Spider-Man 2 video game for PS4. Okay, number 8 goes to the SP//DR suit. Kinda says spider in a fun way. This suit is featured in the hit animated movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but was first introduced in the comic event of the same name. The suit is controlled by Penny Parker, who's taking over for her late father, who used to man the suit. What's interesting about this armor is that it's partly controlled by a living radioactive spider that lives within it. And to use the suit, Penny has to get bitten by the spider, which she dutifully does. The suit is massive, offering tons of protection, and it shoots extra durable webs out of its integrated web shooters. And a suit that's mechanized and able to shoot webs even stronger than those of the original Spider-Man comes in handy when facing off against bad guys like Penny's universe's Mysterio. In a big face-off, the suit proves useful when Penny is able to avoid the effects of a nauseous gas emitted by Mysterio, so it seems like the suit also offers some pretty effective filtration. Not the most versatile suit, but an interesting one that might come in pretty handy in certain situations. At number 7, it's the stealth suit, also known by fans as the Big Time costume. After facing off against the new Hobgoblin in the Amazing Spider-Man number 649 and 650, Peter goes back to Horizon Labs, where he'd been working a day job, and designs the suit to be better, well, suited for the fight. This costume is extremely useful in that it's got a few different settings for different matchups. In camo mode, the suit turns green and keeps him invisible both visually and audibly to anyone who he doesn't want seeing him. This means that through certain lenses held by his allies, the green outlines can be seen, so they know where he is in battle. The other mode is called anti-sound mode, which turns the suit red, and it cancels out all sonic-based attacks like the new Hobgoblin's supersonic attacks. The suit also has anti-metal spiders that can shoot out the top of his wrists that will eat away at and dissolve metal. And the suit can also repair any tears in the fabric at the command of the wearer's thoughts. At number 6, we've got Spidey's Future Foundation costume. This suit is designed by the Future Foundation, which is kind of like the revised Fantastic Four, and it has a really cool black and white finish. But that's not what this list is about. The suit is also extremely handy and implements some pretty futuristic technology known as third-generation unstable molecules. This technology allows Peter Parker to switch from the black and white look to the classic red and blue, or even his civilian clothes in an instant with just a thought. The suit also can't get dirty due to the unstable molecules, which is pretty cool. But the most useful part of this suit is probably its stealth capabilities, which allow Spidey to go almost completely invisible. This feature is particularly useful when he needs to swing around at night without being seen. It's just a great suit that helps Peter Parker's already formidable powers to shine even more, and it's just one of the coolest looking ones, in my opinion.
Coming in at number 5, we have the black and gold Iron Spider suit. This suit is a masterpiece. The black and gold go together so well. You can't not look like a boss while wearing something like that. Also, it has the extendable metal arms that every other Iron Spider suit has. Now, I'm well aware that this suit is only worn by Miles for a little bit. I know that it's mostly worn by Aaron Davis, who is the Prowler and also Miles' uncle. Man, I think you have to have family issues if you want to become a hero. It's like the trauma trauma makes you better at saving people or something. Coming in at number 4, we have Spider Tech. As time goes on, so do the cool possibilities for suits. This suit was featured on the cover of Miles Morales 13. At first glance, it might just seem like a standard suit, but when you get a closer look, you will see that there's much more going on. There's a digital logo displayed on the front of the suit that has an amazing effect. It kind of looks like this static thing going on, and the same effect is layered over the eyes. Also, the glowing red on the gloves and shoes just makes the whole thing pop. I love how this whole thing has a very near future look. I don't know how practical it would be to have glowing parts on your suit while you're fighting crime, but hey, I still dig it. Coming in at number 3, we have Miles Cross Carnage. Whenever a symbiote gets onto someone, it makes them 10 times cooler, and when this creepy liquid alien managed to hook its claws into Miles, we got a variant look that is insanely cool. The black and red crossed with the flowing being of the symbiote really makes the suit look way cooler than a lot of the other versions of Carnage. Maybe not cooler than the Green Goblin, but that's a whole other beast. My favorite thing about this look is the spiral on the face. The sort of hypnotic spin that is entrenched in the face really gives off an image of insanity, and when Carnage is pulling the strings, you know things are going to get a little crazy. Coming in at number 2, we have Weirdworld Miles Morales. Yes, this suit has to be one of the coolest in the whole Marvel universe. And I'm not even just talking about Spider-Man suits, this is one of the coolest of any superhero. I mean, let's just take a look for a moment. First of all, he has a cape, and I know Edna Mode preaches no capes because they're not practical and they're possibly very dangerous, but my god is this cool. It's all black with red webbing running through it, and then it comes with a hood. He looks like Batman crossed with Assassin's Creed. Then we top this off with the fact that this version of Spider-Man is whipping around daggers at everyone. Are you serious? A Spider-Man who uses throwing knives has to be one of the most lethal things on the planet. Coming in at number 1 is Into the Spider-Verse with the Jordans. Oh yeah. Into the Spider-Verse was a smash hit and introduced Miles Morales to a mainstream audience. I know many comic fans have been singing his praise from the mountaintops for years, but I feel like this movie was so incredible that mom and dad who don't read comics now know who this new web slinger is. And I have to say that this movie brings in one of the best suits that we have ever seen Miles in. Now, the suit doesn't give him any special powers unless you count looks that could kill. But in this movie, we have Miles wearing a black and red suit with the red logo sprayed on the front of the suit. Having the spray painted logo gives Miles such a unique look and showcases his personality coming through the costume. On top of this, we have him rocking a dope hoodie, jeans, and the Jordans. You gotta give it to Miles for having a pair of Jordans that match his suit perfectly. I do wonder if it makes it harder for his feet to stick to surfaces, but especially after the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance, this has gotta be one of the best superhero suits ever. Alright nerds, that is all we have for you here today, and before I let you go, I'm going to give you guys my picks for my favorite Spider-Man video games. My first pick has to be Spider-Man 2 for the PS2. If you're too young for this, you won't remember how amazing this game was. Literally, it blew everyone's mind because it was the first time you could be Spider-Man in an open world sandbox game and go anywhere you wanted. I even remember the commercials. It was like, you can go from the rooftop to the blacktop. Nowadays, this is something that's very standard in games, but back then it blew everyone's mind.
Hey, you're actually keeping up. Nice.
Coming in next is Ultimate Spider-Man. This game had a wide array of characters with some crossovers from other comic books. It's a game that felt extremely comic booky with all the villains and expanded universe things that were taking place, which really made you feel like you were playing inside a comic book. And my last pick is, of course, Marvel Spider-Man for PS4. This game is hands down the best Spider-Man game ever made. The open world is amazing, there is a ton of fan service in the game, and the game was made by Insomniac, who has stood the test of time as one of the best developers in the industry.
Number 10, Future Foundation. This suit was given to Spider-Man following Johnny Storm's death in the comics, when Spider-Man stepped in to sort of take over his role with the Fantastic Four, as well as working with the Future Foundation. This suit is made out of unstable molecules, which Reed created / discovered. The makeup of the suit makes it more durable, increasing its resistance to pressure, heat, and cold. Spider-Man can also change the look of his suit with just a thought, turning it back to his traditional blue and red, or turning it all black to stealth mode. It can even transform to resemble civilian clothes. And in case you can't tell, I really like the Future Foundation suit. I just like Fantastic Four things. Number 9. Symbiote suit. Although the symbiote suit was not a fan favorite due to its color scheme and it wasn't as predictable as Parker would have liked, it is also an insanely powerful suit. Spider-Man sought out Reed Richards just to help him figure out how to get the thing off of him, and to figure out just what was going on with this wacky suit. And even after the suit was detached from Peter, it would end up escaping and find its way back to him. This, of course, was because it was a symbiote, so it was a living being. The symbiote, in fact, that would go on to become Venom. But even without Spider-Man's abilities, it was pretty strong. It had its own built-in pocket dimension that you could store things in, which was only really ever mentioned one time, or used one time. And the suit can also shapeshift, is super durable, and can heal its wearer, making it likely one of the coolest suits that Peter Parker has ever worn or owned. Do you own a symbiote if it's with you? I guess it's like it chose to stay with him instead of owned, just had a relationship with. So even if everyone was not a fan of its color scheme, it was still a pretty cool suit. Number 8, Miles' suit. So this one, obviously, it does not belong to Peter, but instead to one of the alternate Ultimate Spider-Men, and one of the most popular Spider alternates around, Miles Morales. Miles was given this suit by S.H.I.E.L.D. after his old costume was deemed hideous by Nick Fury. Being that it's made by S.H.I.E.L.D., you can bet that it is built for action. It also comes with S.H.I.E.L.D. crafted web shooters, which appear to be an improvement on the original design. And its color scheme of red and black definitely lends better than the more traditional look of red and blue in regards to stealth. Number 7, Ultimate Symbiote suit. So this suit is really strong, but its strength kind of comes at a cost. In the Ultimate Universe, the symbiote Venom is made in a lab as opposed to coming from outer space. It's created to be a cure for cancer. So if you can manage to get into the symbiote suit in that reality, it actually has great regenerative healing properties in addition to increasing your strength and being bulletproof. Its strength is so great, it was actually shown to be tough enough to take on both Ultimate Spider-Men at one point, both Peter and Miles. However, the downside to the suit is that it makes the wearer increasingly violent, and Peter almost died when the suit was electrocuted. Electricity is really its only weakness in the Ultimate reality. And it's gotta be really strong electricity. And so after learning all of this information, Peter decided it was best if the suit was destroyed. I mean, what's wrong with a little violence? Number 6, Spider-Man 2099. What if we combine the Future Foundation suit with the alternate Punisher Spider-Man suit and sprinkled in a little sci-fi tech? Well, then we'd have this suit. The suit of alternate Spider-Man from the future, Miguel O'Hara. This suit is equipped with toxic spikes and airfoil cape complete with anti-grav particles, which allows Spider-Man, yes, to glide, and is also made of unstable molecules. Yep, it's pretty nifty. It also just looks super cool, which gives it some bonus points for style. And heck, if we are going the Into the Spider-Verse version of this suit route that was teased in the after credits scene, you might even get your own Spider Watch with it, which allows the user to travel to alternate dimensions. Pretty neat. Also, we need a new name for that item. Spider Watch does not really explain that it allows you to travel to alternate dimensions.
Coming in at number 5, we have the Spider-Man suit of the year 2099. Unlike most of the suits on this list, this one was actually used by Miguel O'Hara, the Spider-Man of the future, rather than Peter Parker, and thus has some unique features that Peter likely never even considered. Made of unstable molecule technology that prevents the fabric from ripping even when Miguel's spider talons are used, the suit also comes with a web-based cape that allows the Spider-Man of the future to glide alongside his usual swinging and wall crawling, and helping him more easily navigate the airborne traffic of the year 2099. Coming in at number 4, we have the Iron Spider costume. Developed by Tony Stark after Spider-Man had a particularly damaging run-in with the villain Morlun, the Iron Spider costume saw Peter Parker adopting a red and gold color scheme in the months leading up to Civil War. Much more heavily armed and defended than his usual outfit, the Iron Spider costume also came with 3 mechanical spider arms that Peter could use to reorient himself or attack an enemy during combat. And while Peter would eventually abandon this suit for his more traditional outfit following his decision to switch sides in Civil War, this costume continues to be a fan favorite as it continues to show up every now and then in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Coming in at number 3, we have the iconic Symbiote suit, aka the being that would eventually become Venom. First introduced as just a new, darker costume for Spider-Man to wear as a bit of a change-up, the suit was eventually revealed to actually be an alien life form that had attached itself to Peter Parker. While he would eventually get rid of it due to this revelation and thus kickstart a decades-long rivalry with Venom, this suit did have its benefits for Peter's crime-fighting life. The Symbiote made Peter much stronger than usual and even improved the quality of his webbing, all of which would unfortunately come back to haunt him once Venom was capable of wielding those powers as well. Coming in at number 2, we have the Fear Itself suit. Hailing from an event also known as Fear Itself, this epic story in the Marvel Universe saw the Asgardian god of fear known as Serpent attacking the Avengers. Made by Tony Stark as part of an assortment of upgrades meant to help the Avengers take on a literal god, Spider-Man's new suit took the design of his classic outfit but molded it out of Uru, the very same metal used to form Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. With this metal also forged into spider talons at the end of Peter's wrists, the Fear Itself suit is one of the strongest that Spidey has ever had made for him, only topped by a single instance that was a bit more than just a costume upgrade. That's right, coming in at our top spot, we have the outfit of Captain Universe as worn by our beloved Peter Parker. One of the oldest beings throughout the entire Marvel Universe is the Enigma Force, the representation of light that stands against the symbiote god Null and his forces of darkness. The Enigma Force would gift all of its strength to a champion chosen to represent its light, and on one particularly notable occasion, that champion was Spider-Man. Now capable of flight, shooting energy blasts from his hands, and being nearly indestructible, Spider-Man only wielded the power of Captain Universe for a short time in canon, but was still capable of defeating a massive Tri-Sentinel and accomplishing feats that the normal Peter Parker could scarcely dream of, ensuring that this costume is definitely the most powerful that Spider-Man has ever worn so far.
Number 10, the Bombastic Bag-Man. Okay, so I'll say outright that I may be a little bit biased when it comes to this one because it is one of the funniest Spider-Man suits I've ever seen, and it's also one of my favorites. Now, when Reed Richards first examined the alien symbiote and separated it from Peter, he was left without a costume, and obviously he couldn't go web-slinging without a costume, as it would just reveal his true identity. So what did he do? Well, thanks to the Human Torch, he was given a spare Fantastic Four costume to cover his body, a paper bag to cover his face, and a good old kick me sign was placed on his back by Johnny himself as a prank. Note how I didn't mention that he got any shoes of any kind, so he literally walked around barefoot in basically a onesie and with a paper bag over his head. The only real redeeming quality is that the suit itself was made of unstable molecules, which insulated the wearer from electrical assaults and performed all other functions any of the Fantastic Four's own suits would. Other than that though, it's just a silly look, and man, do I love it. Check it out in its first appearance in 1984's Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, number 258. Number 9, Negative Zone suit. This suit worn by Peter is one that he gained during his time in the Negative Zone. He ventured into the Negative Zone to rescue 3 children, and much to his surprise, once he set foot in that mysterious zone, his costume was altered. Changing from its normal red and blue, it transformed into a black and white suit, and that actually gave Peter a pretty sweet advantage as it made him pretty much invisible in the Negative Zone. There have been a few other instances where Peter has donned this suit, one that may or may not get covered a little bit later on this list, and then another time after Martin Lee, aka Mr. Negative, touched his costume and forced it to change color. Check out this suit for yourself in pretty much every Spider-Man video game out there, or head on over to 1998 Spider-Man number 90. Number 8, Dusk. During a period of time where Spider-Man wasn't allowed to keep acting as Spider-Man because he was accused of some pretty terrible and serious crimes, he adopted a few different personas so that he could continue saving lives. One of these personas was Dusk, and as Dusk he pretended to be a mercenary with a quiet and serious personality. Peter used all 4 of his new identities to confuse his foes and to contradict speculation that the new heroes were all in fact the same person. Once he cleared his name, he abandoned all of his new personas though. Now the Dusk suit allows the user to become virtually invisible in the shadows and glide short distances. Cassie St. Commons also wore the suit for some time after that, and then after her death and revival, the suit was altered using Dark Force energy, which allowed her to teleport herself and others anywhere she wished to be. She could also manipulate shadows to form objects or constructs of solid dark energy, could regenerate damaged tissue, and she had a clairvoyant ability to sense the whereabouts of all of her teammates. Check out this suit in action in its first appearance in 1998 Spider-Man number 90. Number 7. Spider-Man 2211 suit. Max Born of Earth 9500 in the year 2211 was not only a time spinner, he was the Spider-Man of that universe and time as well. His costume differs greatly from most other Spidey suits, as it's more of a spider armor than a suit, with the only real similarity being the color scheme. Now his armor has 4 extra mechanized arms, is bulletproof, except at point blank range, and includes a guided webbing, electro webbing, supplied air, visual sensors, rocket boots, and a time traveling engine. Not only that, Bourne's technology in a suit allows him to view alternate timelines, perform mind wipes, and use advanced stochastic modeling to forecast the most probable future events. Check it and Spider-Man 2211 out for yourself, starting with the 1995 Spider-Man 2099 meets Spider-Man #1. Number 6. The Anti-Ock suit. Making its first appearance in 2018's Marvel's Spider-Man PS4, this suit is an upgraded version of Peter's advanced suit that he wears throughout the base game. He had been working on the advanced suit for quite some time while he was working at Octavius Industries, using any materials that were used for their work on prosthetic limbs. Now funnily enough, it was thanks to Otto's design and augmentations that the suit was able to come to life. When Octavius went rogue and kidnapped Mayor Osborn and got a hold of the anti-serum for the Devil's Breath, Peter quickly completed this suit to be able to fight on par with Dr. Octopus's tentacles. This suit is pretty similar to most of his other suits, however it has a resupply feature that distributes nano mesh that continuously refills the webbing or any other gadget that he has on hand. The suit also seems to act like some sort of extra armor for Peter, as in that final battle with Doc Ock, the suit gets partially damaged and you can see his regular old suit underneath it. Check it out for yourself by replaying or just straight up playing for the first time 2018 Spider-Man PS4.
Number 5. Upgraded Advanced Suit. The Advanced Spider-Man suit in the Marvel Spider-Man video game always deserves a mention, but it's literally on the cover of the game. So another armor native to that game though comes to mind. That's the upgraded advanced suit. Peter creates this armor out of the same material that Dr. Otto Octavius created his cybernetic limbs with. While he originally made this suit as a side project, it became extremely useful when Doc Ock became his sinister self. The suit allowed Peter to be able to actually stand up to his old mentor, and it looked really good doing it. All black metal-like material with the yellow eyes and the spider symbol. After I beat the game, I definitely used this as my main suit, and you know what? It's actually worn on top of the advanced suit, so I'm kind of hitting 2 spiders with 1 stone here. Number 4. Spider-Man Carnage Doppelganger. We all know Spider-Man had the awesome Black Venom symbiote suit, but did you know Miles Morales had one too? When he was forcibly bonded with a symbiote by Carnage, the resulting suit is a corrupted looking version of Miles' already awesome suit, with a jaw, splashes and spirals, and ripped gloves and boots. It also changed colors when in a fight. Just like Peter, Miles eventually got control of the suit, changing its look with red streaks under the eyes. Also, the spider logo was skinny and the legs extended and wrapped around the shoulders and thighs. This suit was both useful and detrimental. All the perks of having a symbiote bonded suit, but also with all the cons. It didn't last as long as Peter's run with the symbiotic suit though, which sucks when you know how much better it looks. Don't kill me in the comments for that. Hold up. Hey, before we carry on, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for being you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting that like button. And if you did it, thanks for subscribing. It means a lot to us here. Okay, now let's carry on before I get too sentimental. Number 3, the black cloth suit. After Peter Parker defeated Venom and removed the symbiotic suit, his girlfriend at the time, Black Cat, gave him this black cloth Spider-Man suit that was thankfully not a symbiote. Her reasoning was that, well, to put it plainly, she thought he looked sexier in the black suit. Hey, we all know black is sexy, okay? He was initially resistant to the idea, but he had to wear it because his other suit shrunk in the wash. Yes, that's the actual reason. Peter Parker problems, am I right? Really, it was because fans loved the black suit. I am one of those fans. The black suit and his traditional suit were swapped in and out from time to time, and the black suit was even his primary suit for a while when the other one was destroyed. This suit was useful for Peter as his girlfriend loved it and fans loved it. Oh, and it was really good for stealth and intimidated the hell out of bad guys. Yeah. Number 2, Fear Itself suit. If you don't know about the Fear Itself story, well, change that, please. It's an awesome story. Basically, the brother of Odin, who is evil, returns and sends these magical Mjolnir-like hammers to Earth that corrupt heroes and turn them into his chosen. That's a ton of power, and the heroes really struggle to quell that threat. Tony Stark and the dwarves of Nidavellir team up to create Uru armor and weapons for a bunch of heroes. Spider-Man was one of those heroes. The suit had 2 gauntlets on each wrist, which were equipped with blades on each arm which could be used as melee weapons. It also changed the color scheme to a neon-like blue and white scheme. It was really sweet looking. Unfortunately, we don't really know the full capabilities of the suit, as Odin ordered it and the other Uru weapons to be destroyed after the conflict. But it had to be extremely useful against the Asgardian level threats because they won. Number 1, Superior Spider-Man suit. Fans of the character will know that the Superior Spider-Man is actually Dr. Otto Octavius, who switched bodies with Peter Parker. After Peter died in Otto's body, and Otto was shown the experiences and memories of Peter, he decided to become an even better Spider-Man. Part of that process included creating a new suit. The modifications to the suit weren't just aesthetic. Otto added a heads-up display on the lenses. All of the fingers on the gloves have retractable claws on them, and the big toe on both boots is separated from the rest of the boot, and both have retractable talons, which is kind of weird. He also added carbonadium in the mask to prevent mind switching. He added a built-in communications device to activate nano spider tracers, and created spider arms on the back. When Peter came back, surprise, he used the suit with energy weapons and extra arms in order to defeat Itsy Bitsy. Yes, that's a villain. This suit was much more advanced and also looked pretty awesome.
Coming in at number 10, we have the homemade Miles Morales suit. I love when you go back through the comics and you find the first suit that every super put on. You have the janky Iron Man suit that was too bulky to fly. You have the old school Blade looking amazing in the 70s attire, and the famous purple pantsed Hulk. With Miles, we have a classic look of the sweater thrown over a black t-shirt with the black pants on. This suit is just amazing because it marks the dawn of a hero. The moment when you accept the fact they're going to take on all the evil in the world and protect the people who can't protect themselves. And it shows how young, unexperienced, and unprepared Miles is to go out and fight crime. Those first few years as a super are some of the best comics you can read. It's fun watching the hero make little mistakes while trying to stop a bank robbery. It's a refreshing break from trying to stop Thanos from collecting the Infinity Gems. I gotta say, that's probably a lot easier. Coming in at number 9, we have Miles wearing Spider-Man. This happens a lot in comics. A superhero dies, and then a less experienced hero with similar abilities puts on the suit to take up the mantle, so the world feels safe and no one knows that they passed away. We saw it happen in Batman when everyone thought that he was dead and Nightwing decided he would become the new Bat. And then the same thing would happen with Miles, but in a much less official way. In the Ultimate Spider-Man universe, there was the tragic death of Peter Parker. The world was now left without Spider-Man. Miles thought that New York should not be without the friendly neighborhood hero. Now, unlike Nightwing becoming Batman, Miles didn't have access to the official tools that Spider-Man had been using, so he ended up wearing a Spider-Man suit that a friend purchased for him from a Halloween store. You can imagine this wasn't the same quality suit that Peter Parker had been repping, but hey, a hero gotta do what a hero gotta do. Coming in at number 8, we have the Spider-Verse Spider-Man costume. Let's roll from one tacky, poorly fitting Spider-Man knockoff suit right into another. In the movie Into the Spider-Verse, we have Miles wearing a Spider-Man costume that he cuts eye holes into, and it's way too baggy for him. This is a hilarious look, and it really showcases the hero just starting out and having no idea what he's doing. Not only that, but Miles got this suit from Stan Lee himself. Do you guys remember that scene in the movie? Just a warning for anyone who hasn't seen Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know what you've been doing with your life, but there will be some spoilers coming up. In this scene, Spider-Man has just died. Miles goes into a store to get a Spider-Man costume. He then gets the suit from Stan Lee, and Stan Lee says, "I'm going to miss him." And this was right after Stan Lee had just passed away. I'm not confirming that me and my bro cried in the theater, but we might have cried in the theater. Coming in at number 7, we have the Ultimatum suit. Dimension traveling Spider-Man, that's just something that comes up in the comics again and again. And when we see Ultimatum Miles Morales, it doesn't even look like any Spider-Man I know. And that's partly why I put it on this list. It's good to have a little variation, baby. The Ultimatum suit looks like a collage between different heroes put together. And I'm gonna say it's not my favorite suit of all time, but it does have some pretty cool elements. On the back, it looks like it has Captain America's shield. The chest seems to have the circle plate glowing thing that Thor has going on. And then when you step back and look at the whole suit put together, there's some major giant man vibes. Coming in at number 6, we have the Cosmic Spider suit. Even though some comic fans don't see Miles as a legit Spider-Man, Spider-Man, he has made some amazing accomplishments and deserves to be respected. I want you guys to know that I think Miles is a first-rate Spider-Man, so don't destroy me in the comments, please. One of the most insane things that Miles has done is become Captain Universe. This took place in Spider-Geddon number 5, and it gave Miles a whole new look. The white, blue, and black cosmic look was extremely cool, and of course he had a slew of new powers at his fingertips. He had the ability to blast energy rays out of his hands, he could fly, he had hypnosis, he had telekinesis, and that is just a few of the powers that were passed down to him. When people become Captain Universe, they are sort of a Silver Surfer-esque being with the amount of cool things they can do.
Number 5. Superior Spider-Man Suit. This is the suit that belonged to Otto Octavius when he took up the mantle of Spider-Man, following his body swap with Peter. Or at least one of his suits, because he kind of updated it a few times. Originally, Otto was just going to steal Peter's body to use for his own means, as his old body was failing him. But Peter convinced Otto to carry on his work as a hero, and Octavius set out to be an even better Spider-Man as Superior Spider-Man. The costume that he wears is lined with carbonadium to protect against any unwanted mind swapping, as Otto obviously did not want to become a victim of exactly the kind of plot he had previously executed against his former nemesis, Peter Parker. The carbonadium lining would of course help to make the mask more durable as well. The suit was also later upgraded to feature spider arms, a nod to Otto's Octo arms, its own AI, webbed wings, and laser beams. Pew pew, laser beams. Number 4. Uru Suit. During the Fear Itself event, pretty much every hero was given their own set of Uru weapons and armor after Tony Stark made a deal with Odin to allow him to work alongside the dwarves of Nidavellir for Spider-Man to wear in and wield in the upcoming war against the fear god known as the Serpent, aka Thor's uncle called Borson. He was given a suit made of one of the strongest metals in the universe, Uru, and 2 gauntlets, one for each wrist, equipped with Uru blades. These items were so powerful that Odin insisted after the war they should all be returned and destroyed, melted back down into the Uru stone-like metal they were crafted out of. Uru metal is just too powerful apparently, we can't have it. Number 3. Iron Spider. This suit was created by Tony Stark himself in the MCU, but it also takes inspiration from a comic book version by the same name, also made by Tony Stark. In the MCU, it's gifted to Parker following the events where he defeats and helps to capture the supervillain Vulture. In the comics, it's given to him by Tony during the events of Civil War I, where Peter fought on Iron Man's side in the first Civil War, which of course was between Tony Stark and Captain America Steve Rogers. This armor has also been worn by Mary Jane in the comics, who used it to come to Spider-Man and Iron Man's defense when they were battling villain Regent. Number 2. A Mark IV Suit. What's better than having a millionaire slash genius slash superhero use his resources and intellect to build and gift you a suit? Being a millionaire slash genius slash superhero who uses your own resources and intellect to build your own suit. That's exactly where the Mark IV Spider-Man suit came from. The suit comes with built-in Spider-Man powers, so it is super strong in the sense that it can turn a normal wearer into Spider-Man when needed. Spider-Man added this in to keep his secret identity safe, giving this model to those he trusted to impersonate him when needed so that no one would suspect Peter Parker was actually Spider-Man. The suit is insanely durable and comes with spider drones, immunity to poison, enhanced senses and strength, and a brain control override function, which shocks anyone who comes into physical contact with the suit, basically causing their motor functions to go haywire for a lengthy period of time. This was shown to be successful when used on the extremely powerful sorceress Morgan Le Fay. Number 1. Symbiote Suit. This suit created waves when it first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man issue 252. Originally it was meant to just be a change-up of costume colors for the web-spinning hero, but fans were not huge on these new colors, the black and white, and many expressed how much they missed the old classic red and blue costume. Because of this, the black suit, as it was known then, was given a backstory wherein it was explained that the suit was not just a suit, but an actual living being, an alien creature known as a symbiote, which Peter had found during Secret Wars. Despite the fact that Peter would eventually part ways with it, the suit would stick around in the comics and eventually find its way to longtime host Eddie Brock. The suit adopted Spider-Man's powers, was immune to Spidey sense detection, could shapeshift, and has since seen an even greater power-up over time, with it later on getting wings, poisonous fangs, a powerful healing factor, the ability to fuse with other symbiotes in order to grow its own strength, and even channel energy, use it to fire blasts, and could even absorb energy as well. It also has its own pocket dimension, which can be used to store an infinite number of things, I presume, though it's only ever been mentioned once. I'd kind of love it if Peter had put something in there like years ago when he was wearing the suit and forgot about it, and then randomly Eddie just like pulled that item out of thin air and was like, hey, where did this come from?
Coming in at number 10, we have the outfit of Spider-Man Noir. In an alternate version of the Marvel Universe in which Peter Parker was raised during the Great Depression of the 1930s, he wound up gaining his spider powers after breaking a spider totem that contained multiple magical spiders. Hiding his secret identity with a costume inspired by the pilot uniforms of World War I era bombers, just like his Uncle Ben had been, this suit came complete with holsters for the era-appropriate pistols that Spider-Man Noir was fond of carrying, alongside a brooding trench coat essential for any moody detective. Might not have any special abilities or extra protections for Peter, but hey, at least it makes him look pretty damn cool. Coming in at number 9, we have the Future Foundation costume. During a period of time in which the Fantastic Four had decided to expand and rebrand themselves into the white-wearing Future Foundation, Spider-Man was asked to join the main team of 4 following the apparent death of Johnny Storm. As part of this brief career change, Spidey began wearing the white Future Foundation outfit, which allowed him to easily change in and out of civilian clothing and showed that Spider-Man was a full-fledged uniform-wearing member of a superhero team for the first time. And while he'd eventually go back to his classic red and blue color scheme, it definitely was a striking change-up for the spectacular Spider-Man. Coming in at number 8, we have Spider-Man's stealth costume, aka the Big Time suit. Following an intense battle with a new and improved Hobgoblin, Peter Parker knew he needed some upgrades if he wanted to take down his foe without too much injury. Given that he was working for Horizon Labs at the time, Peter wound up using their technology to create the black and green Big Time stealth suit, allowing himself to turn completely invisible to the naked eye and also be capable of surviving the Hobgoblin's sonic-based attacks. As a final benefit, this costume is also capable of repairing itself, able to mend its own fabric back together in a way that comes quite in handy given how often Spider-Man seems to get his mask half torn off his face. Coming in at number 7, we've got to go with the classic Spider-Man suit, aka the one you think of when you think of Spider-Man. Ever since he first upgraded from a wrestling outfit, Spider-Man has been best known for his iconic blue, red, and webbed costume design, and to this day it's still one of my personal favorite superhero costumes. While not possessing any extra powers or defenses by itself, the classic suit has always allowed Peter Parker to hide his identity behind a colorful and wisecracking mask, and seems to integrate well with both his web shooters and utility belt. And while there may be more powerful suits still to come on this list, I don't know if any of them could be quite this stylish. Coming in at number 6, we have the Spider Armor Mark III. Also known as the Anti-Sinister 6 armor, this suit was developed at the same time as the Big Time suit using Horizon Labs technology, but intended only to be used as a last resort, which, of course, it wound up having to be used because of Dr. Octopus's scheme to flood and destroy Manhattan. With built-in web shooters and an incredible amount of weaponry and defense protocols woven into the suit, the Mark III has countermeasures for every known member of the Sinister Six, which made Spider-Man powerful enough to lead the entire Avengers team in a final push to defeat Doc Ock's plan.
Number 5, Fear Itself Spider Suit. The only thing preventing this suit from being higher up on the list is how short-lived it was. During the Fear Itself event, Spider-Man ended up, like all the other heroes in the story, getting his own set of Uru armor. In his case, it was a spider suit that was also equipped with 2 gauntlets, which concealed blades. Uru blades. It is magical and ancient and requires the skill of the dwarves of Nidavellir when it comes to crafting with it. Nidavellir is of course one of the 9 realms and one of the places where you can find this material. It is nigh indestructible, and Tony Stark, with the dwarves' help, made this Uru suit and gauntlets specifically for Spider-Man. Unfortunately, Odin ordered that all Uru weapons and armor that were used in the battle against the Serpent be destroyed afterwards, and so Spidey's suit was, of course, destroyed afterwards. Not everything got destroyed though, but Spidey's suit did. Number 4, Homecoming Suit. This is the first suit that Tom Holland's Peter Parker in the MCU gets from Tony Stark. It comes with its own intelligent interface, which Spider-Man decides to name Karen. This suit comes with an insane amount of gadgets, allows Peter to track more easily and sneak, even managing to eavesdrop on others and hear conversations from far away. It has more than 500 different types of web shooters. Now, the only thing holding this suit back from being as powerful as it could be initially are its training wheels protocols, which fortunately Ned manages to unlock by hacking the suit, granting Peter access to the suit's full capabilities. That is a lot of web shooters, I'm just saying. Number 3, Superior Spider Suit. This suit is another one that doesn't really belong to Peter, but I guess it also kind of does? Belongs to his body at least. This suit was built by Otto Octavius following his body swap with Peter. So it's Otto Octavius, but in Parker's body. He adopted the mantle of Spider-Man in an effort to do better than Peter Parker after being inspired by Parker on his deathbed, while he was inside Octavius's failing body. Otto modified the suit after becoming Superior Spider-Man, adding claws and foot talons, a carbonadium lining to enhance strength, and more importantly, to prevent further body swapping, and extra spider arms as an homage to his previous role as Doc Ock, among other things. Later on, he'd even add energy weapons to this suit. Number 2, Iron Spider Suit. This is the suit that Spider-Man was given in the MCU upon heading to space with Iron Man, although Iron Man originally gave it to Peter to help keep him safe while he returned home, which was what he had expected to happen. Spider-Man, being Spider-Man of course, didn't listen and returned to the Q ship that he and Iron Man had been after, aiming to prevent Thanos from getting the Time Stone and to help save Doctor Strange from the clutches of Ebony Maw. This suit has environmental controls that allow Spider-Man to use the suit in space, and being built by Tony Stark, it is remarkably durable, allowing Spider-Man to take a direct punch from Thanos and still survive. It also has the immensely strong spider legs, which were shown to be able to withstand Thanos' grip. Whoa! Wow! Number 1, Spider-Man 2211. You didn't think I was going to just let the MCU take this one, did you? Although I will admit that the Iron Spider suit is insanely powerful. I cannot deny that. Now, Max Bourne is a Spider-Man from the future. His suit is definitely one any version of Spidey would be lucky to have in their closet. It is bulletproof, has 4 mechanical arms, and comes with a helmet that can help him to see into the future. Yeah. He's also got electro and guided webbing at his disposal, environmental controls, and his suit allows him to time travel. He even has rocket boots which allow him to fly around. He's actually sort of like the time police in the future, traveling around to help prevent timeline disruptions. So I gotta give it to that suit just for all of the timey-wimey stuff.
Number 10, Spider-Man Noir. This one is coming in at number 10 because people in the comments will tell me it's very well known. Yeah, I know, but it's awesome. So, I don't know, deal with it. On Earth 90214, Peter Parker modeled his spider suit after his Uncle Ben's World War I air pilot uniform. But I mean, no, he modeled it after being totally awesome. With that trench coat and the fedora hat, the goggles, the vest. He even carries a pistol. He used what he had in the 1930s to create a spider detective. You love it, I love it, we all love it. And it always deserves to be talked about when we talk about Spider-Man suits. Always. Number 9, the Bombastic Bag-Man. If you don't know about this suit, you're welcome. It has appeared twice. Both times are equally hilarious. The first time it ever appeared was when Peter removed the symbiote costume with the help of Reed Richards and Johnny Storm, and had no choice but to put on an extra Fantastic Four costume. But those costumes don't have masks. So what did he do? Make a new one, I hear you say? Don't be silly. No, no, no. Johnny poked eye holes in a paper bag and put it on Peter's head. But that's not all. Oh no, no. It seems as though someone placed a kick me sign on the back of the costume too, as if it wasn't all embarrassing enough. Adam, how is this useful? Because it's hilarious. Oh, and it's a really great last minute costume idea to keep his identity secret. Yeah, that's why. Number 8, the Canadian Spider Suit. In an alternate reality, first seen in Cosmic Ghost Rider Destroys Marvel History Volume 1 Number 6, Ben Reilly wore a suit that differs a little bit from its blue and red counterpart. This suit had a black and red color scheme. The aesthetic webbing looked very suspiciously like plaid. It had brown leather gloves and boots, and the chest spider symbol was inside of a pinkish white maple leaf-like shape. I can't possibly tell what they were going for here. Oh, you know what? I think, yeah, it's a Canadian Spider-Man. Other than the aesthetic, Canadian Spider Ben Reilly is exactly the same as his 616 counterpart, but way more apologetic and probably slightly more resistant to cold weather. Number 7. Threats and Menaces suit. TNM, or Threats and Menaces, is a news website in New York City, and after a long time of being unemployed, Peter Parker accepts a job there. They give him a new suit that can record his perspective as Spider-Man and broadcast it live, giving viewers a first-person view of Spidey's battles, essentially turning Spider-Man into a streamer. It 100% defeats the purpose of being a hero, and if he wasn't doing it because he had no job at the time, I think it was kind of sleazy, but it's also kind of really awesome. Like, I definitely watched that. The suit also got a new, really cool white, blue, and yellow color scheme, and enhanced his strength and speed. If that wasn't enough though, the suit also has holographic abilities, and every few minutes includes a word from TNM's sponsors. Number 6. Spider-Man Earth 71928. On Earth 71928, Peter's life remained pretty much the same as Earth 616 Peter until Uncle Ben died, and Peter killed the robber who shot him. In a very Punisher-like decision, Peter decided to deal with crime by any means, meaning he killed criminals. Peter tried to avoid this at first, but since criminals be criminals, and that life is kind of hard to leave behind, they always came back, and gosh darn it, Peter was not okay with that. Yeah, a great reason to be a murderer, man. He carried the pistol that took Uncle Ben's life, as well as other weaponry with multiple different types of ammunition. His suit also took a skull logo instead of the traditional spider logo due to the spider that gave him his powers being a noble false widow, which has a cephalothorax that looks like a skull. Yeah, okay Marvel. You know, I'm seeing a lot of Punisher parallels here. Strange.
Number 5. Electro-proof suit. Although this suit is not super well known and generally considered pretty weak, this suit is actually a lot stronger than you might think and has saved Peter's life. The Electro-proof suit is exactly what it sounds like. It's a suit that was specifically designed to combat against Electro's powerful and thunderous attacks. With rubber padding running throughout the costume, this costume not only featured an interesting design choice, it made Electro's attacks pretty much harmless. Turns out not every scenario needs a complicated solution. That being said though, this suit is pretty useless against any other villain, but oh man, when it comes to Electro, just super effective. Check it out for yourself in its first appearance in 1997's Amazing Spider-Man number 425. Number 4. Penny Parker's SPDR suit. First introduced in the Spider-Verse event, Penny Parker is a young girl whose father originally piloted a mech suit known as the SPDR. After her father's death, Penny was instructed by her universe's version of Aunt May and Uncle Ben that only she could pilot the suit thereafter. What's so unique about the SPDR suit is that it has a living radioactive spider within it that powers the entire CPU. While the suit definitely stands out amongst other Spidey costumes, its heavy armor, unique control system, and weapons make SPDR a true force to be reckoned with. This suit is ridiculously powerful mainly due to the fact that its limitations were never actually written. Like many other manga robots, the SPDR suit is equipped with essentially any type of weapon that the plot calls for, with seemingly unlimited defenses, and then not to mention that it literally lets her travel across dimensions. Why not check it out for yourself, starting with its first appearance in 2014's Edge of Spider-Verse number 5. Number 3. Stealth suit. While fighting the Hobgoblin, he discovered that he had no protection whatsoever against the villain's sonic screams. After being defeated by the Hobgoblin, Peter returned to his job at Horizon's lab and decided to create a new defensive suit. Therefore, enter the Stealth suit, aka the Enter the Big Time suit. This suit is constructed of an omniharmonic mesh composed of unstable molecules, which not only renders the suit to eliminate all input and output of sound, but allows it to repair itself if damaged. The molecules also allow for a sort of camouflage ability to hide in plain sight, which is kind of a must when it comes to a stealth suit. All that being said though, it does have a few drawbacks, but All in all, the big time costume has been used by Spidey multiple times, and it continues to be one of the most reliable costumes in his wardrobe. Check it out for yourself in 2011's Amazing Spider-Man number 650. Number 2, the Mark III. Also known as Peter's Ends of the Earth suit, Mark III of the Spider armor is easily one of, if not the best version of the armor. During the Ends of the Earth storyline, Dr. Octopus and the Sinister Six were attempting to hold the planet hostage by speeding up the greenhouse effect within the planet, so Spidey decided that he was in need of an upgrade. With almost no hope for victory at all, Peter poured his blood, sweat, and tears into making this suit, and man did it pay off. The armor is electro-proof, impact resistant, offers well-protected web shooters, and enhanced sensors are within the suit's lenses. Not only that though, this suit also allows Peter to fly thanks to built-in jet boosters, allows Spider-Man to communicate with his fellow Avengers through a comm link, and has a built-in utility belt that contains pretty much every gadget Peter has ever made. Get why it's so high up on this list today? Good. Check it out for yourself, starting with its first appearance in 2012's Amazing Spider-Man number 682. Number 1, Spider-Man 2099. Now Miguel O'Hara, the Spider-Man of 2099, has had 2 different costumes, so let's go over both of them a bit, because honestly they both deserve to be talked about. His first suit was pretty similar to the Spider-Man costume that we're all familiar with, but has a lot more blue and featured a more skull-like spider. It was made of unstable molecule fabric, similar to all of the costumes of the Fantastic Four, and also featured a cape made of a web-like material called Light Bite. And all this served him very well, but eventually, like all things, it was time for an upgrade. When Miguel joined Parker Industries, Peter created a new spider suit just for him. This version glows red and can also change color. This suit is also made of unstable molecules bonded to Kevlar to increase durability, and has a better integrated Light Bite material to improve its gliding, as well as thrusters are integrated into the boots for launch. It also has more long-range attack options provided by spider saucers running up and down his sleeves and integrated into his gloves. And of course, we can't forget that the suit has an onboard sensor for complete vicinity readings. Check out the original suit in 1992's Amazing Spider-Man number 365, and then the upgraded version in 2015's Spider-Man 2099, Volume 3, number 1.
Number 10, Lady Spider. I want to talk about Lady Spider's suit relative to the time period she is from. May Riley comes to us from what appears to be the turn of the century, at a time where steam-powered ships and locomotives were all the rage, and yet she still manages to craft a fairly impressive costume based on the technology of that time. May's father was an inventor, and it seems she was also bit by the inventing bug. Pardon my bad pun there. After her father passed away, she set to tinkering and creating her own spider costume. It might not be as epic as some of the others on this list, but relative to the time period, it would have been pretty powerful. It comes with a spider harness with 4 functional spider arms attached to it, and of course web shooters of her own design. Number 9, Spider-Gwen suit. Not the comic book Spider-Gwen, but the Spider-Gwen from the Ultimate Spider-Man Disney XD cartoon. This version appears in episode 19 of season 4 in the story Return to the Spider-Verse. Here we learn that Gwen does not have powers just all her own, but instead it is her suit and its gadgets that help to give her her abilities, mimicking the powers that Spider-Man is usually known for. While this doesn't put her suit on the same level as some of Peter's other suits, it does mean that if you had Spider-Gwen's suit, you'd basically be at the same level of power when it comes to heroics as any other of your standard spider folk. Her mask even grants Spider-Gwen her own version of spider sensibilities. Pretty impressive. Number 8, Enigma Force. So, the Enigma Force isn't so much a suit as it is, well, a force. But last time we talked about Spider-Man suits, a lot of you were sad that it was not included, so this is for all you nerds that love the Spider-Verse and or that time Spider-Man was bonded with the Uni power. For the alternate Spider-Man of Earth 91110 from the What If series and of Earth 13 from the Spider-Verse event, that power never left Peter Parker. While tied to the Enigma Force, all of Spider-Man's abilities were immensely enhanced, and he also gained the ability to see things at a subatomic level and manipulate matter and energy. The only reason the Enigma Force is so low on this list is because it's still not technically a suit, but it does have a stylized look that makes it appear like its own suit of sorts, so I'll give it to you. Number 7, Future Foundation suit. This suit was given to Spider-Man by the Future Foundation and was created by Mr. Fantastic. The Future Foundation suit was a suit that Spider-Man wore during his time with the FF, where he took over Johnny Storm's place on the team's roster after the Human Torch was suspected dead. Of course, this is comics, so the Human Torch would eventually return. The Future Foundation costume is made out of unstable molecules, which makes it more durable, prevents it from getting dirty, and can allow the wearer to change its appearance and color scheme with a simple thought, helping Peter to go from his everyday civilian appearance to superhero in an instant, which is pretty powerful for a costumed vigilante with a secret identity to uphold. Number 6. Mark II suit. I love that Spider-Man numbers his suits like Iron Man. It's real cute. The Mark II is a suit Spider-Man created when he was suffering from a loss of his Spidey sense. To compensate, this armor was bulletproof and more durable than most, allowing him to get shot multiple times by villain and mass murderer the Insane Massacre without being harmed in battle. The suit was used by both Superior Spider-Man and Peter Parker himself. It also came with magnetic web shooters which helped to block radio frequencies so that Massacre could not activate his traps from a distance.
Okay, number 5, we've got the Spider-Man 2099 suit. This spider suit has a cape. Yes, it's kinda small, but it's a frickin' cape. First worn by Miguel O'Hara in Spider-Man 2099 number 1, this suit was originally designed for Miguel to wear at a Day of the Dead celebration. Yes, this suit was meant for partying, but very soon became much more than that, with an upgraded version actually incorporating jet boots. I think this is such a cool addition to a Spider-Man suit because it makes a lot of sense to enhance his swinging capabilities. It's also got GPS sensors, allowing the wearer to navigate around the city effortlessly. Sadly, in the newer iteration of the suit, the cape was scrapped, but in its place are these tiny web wings that allow the wearer to glide a bit more in the air. This suit is just a lot of fun and would be very useful for day-to-day crime fighting around the city because it allows this Spider-Man to reach new speeds in the air and I would imagine longer times between web swings. It also just looks really cool again. Okay, fine, they all look cool, but I just have to say it still. Okay, at number 4, we've got the Iron Spider armor created by Tony Stark. In many realities, Peter Parker either turns down this suit or retires it quickly for various reasons, but thankfully, he does make use of it a few times. We've all had the pleasure of seeing how this suit looks in all its 4K MCU glory, but what's really great about this suit is what it can do. Firstly, the most notable feature, visually speaking, are the mechanical spider arms, which are actually called Waldos for some reason. These arms actually have cameras on the tips of them to peer around corners, and small grippers built to the end of the tips so they could act as extra arms for climbing and getting around. The suit can glide as well, allowing Spider-Man to move around a bit in the air, and underwater, because the suit also has a state-of-the-art mask filter that allows for nuclear, biological, and chemical filtration, as well as 8 minutes of clean oxygen if the wearer needed to explore something underwater. There are so many more things to cover as well. This suit is basically just as protective as the classic Iron Man suit, and with all these extra abilities, it just adds so much more power to Peter Parker's already impressive abilities. Alright, at number 3, we've got Spider Armor Mark III, otherwise known as the Ends of the Earth suit. This suit is created in Horizon Labs by Peter Parker as a last resort to help take down the Sinister Six. But I guess Peter works well under pressure because this suit is insane. Starting with the helmet, it has super hearing capabilities designed to pick up on Chameleon's heartbeat. The helmet could also communicate with Spider-Man's fellow teammates in battle with a comm link system. It also has a holographic sensor allowing the wearer to see through Mysterio's holograms and illusions, and it's capable of repelling Electro entirely, turning him back into human form on command, which is pretty cool. The suit allows for Spider-Man to fly with jet boosters and enhances web shooters that allow the user to fire more webs than the typical suits. Not only that, but the utility belt on the suit carries multiple cartridges of different types of webbing, also spider tracers and ice spiders. And listen, I'm leaving out a few things for time's sake too. Listen, the only reason why this suit doesn't take number 1 is because its abilities were catered pretty specifically to the feat of taking down the Sinister Six. So, in other cases, it might not be quite as effective as it is facing off in this specific scenario, but that's only one small fault for a very useful suit. Pretty nuts. At number 2, we're graduating from the term useful and veering more into absolutely overpowered with Spider-Man's Captain Universe suit. Alright, fine, this isn't really a suit per se. Like, it's not something any old Peter Parker could slip on and off, but it's still a suit and it's still extremely useful. This suit was created when Spider-Man was involved in a lab accident, but unlike the radioactive spider situation, this time he's actually given what's called the Uni-Power, making him one of the most powerful Spider-Man characters we've ever come across. He's got Univision, which endows him with a sort of cosmic consciousness, allowing him to sense things not just coming at him in the macro world, but he can sense things on a subatomic level, bringing the Spidey senses to a whole new meaning. This power also allows him to get people to tell the truth, which is pretty handy, I'd say. In Captain Universe form, Spider-Man can also manipulate energy, allowing him to fly. And above all this, the actual suit allows Spider-Man to withstand extremes in temperatures, allowing the wearer to traverse basically any environment on Earth and possibly beyond. He also has enough strength to punch the Hulk into orbit. And yes, it may be arguable that this isn't the suit allowing for this kind of power, but the suit and the powers kind of come together in this instance, so it remains on the list. Okay, at number 1, it is the Amazing Spider-Man suit, or Spider Armor Mark IV. Okay, here we go. This suit can detect magic, infrared and X-ray beams, scan injured people to determine their injuries, and even detect plasma levels in blood to help administer first aid on a superhuman level. And in this iteration of the Spider Armor, the different webbing is available not by switching out cartridges on a waistband, but by voice command. So the wearer just has to say the word and the web shooter will go from shooting regular webs to electrified webs to concrete webbing, which is a web with such strong durability that it was able to stop an Aztec god in its tracks. The suit also has an array of defensive capabilities, like administering antidotes if the wearer comes into contact with poison, as well as stealth and camo abilities as well. I'm missing so much just to keep this one short, but it's fair to say that this suit is the most widely useful as of posting this video, and I just can't wait to see what comes with the Spider Armor Mark V.